we need to sell some property. We need to get some people in here, you know, paying taxes on this stuff. But I don't think spending more money for a visitor center is the thing we need to do now when they have all this property. The city owns property right here, the old funeral home. That's right here in town. On the records, it still shows that the Development Authority owns the mall. That's where the center is at now, for the Welcome Center. We definitely need a Welcome Center, but we need to do it smart. They want to move to Wendy's, which is, what, 2 football fields away from where they're at. Why do we think that's going to be a big improvement? If they need to move where they're getting more visibility, can they move where the antique place was at, put a door on the opposite side, so, you know, maybe it is more visible? Find another piece of property that people are not paying taxes on to help us, taxpayers, foot the bill for all this spending is wrong. And I want y'all to think about it, and it looks like earnest money's already been paid. Now, I don't know if that's something that y'all can get back for us taxpayers or not, but it looks like there was 2 checks already written, one for the engineer company and one for the auction group, about $22,000 that we've already paid out. As far as the Welcome Center stuff, about 5 or 6 years ago when I got my captain's license and tried to start a tour company here, I was involved with the chamber. I was involved, I think I went to several of the meetings with the tourist folks. I've taken them out on my boat free of charge to show them what beauty we have here. That was 6 years ago. Not anything has changed. Nothing's changed. 6 years. So why buying one more piece of property is going to make a difference? That's not even logical. They've got plenty of property that's not productive. That's our property. That's your property. That's taxpayers' property. There's no income. We need to do it smarter. We had a great building right here at the foot of the bridge. Beautiful scenery. You know, worth a lot of money. That piece of property right by the bridge worth a lot of money. And it's gone, apparently, from what I understand. There's other properties that we can use to do the same job as buying something else that we have to redo. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, somebody else?
I don't want to, but I feel like I have to on behalf of tourism. I'm very good at this. Wendy, you're very eloquent.
You can do it.
I didn't think I'd ever say that.
You can do it.
On behalf of the tourism group, I went over and over this for like 4 days. I've gone about 8 circles trying to figure out how to.
Would you real quick just state your name?
Yeah, I'm Joanne Vieira. I own the Darien Waterfront Inn at 711 Fort King George. Just invested just about everything I've ever made in my entire life. Bed and breakfast in Darien and McIntosh County's tourism industry here in Darien. So everything I own is riding on Darien's tourism. So I've been here almost 9 years. My sister Janet Bill Chamberlain owned Blue Heron Inn, so they've been doing this investing here with their property and their everything in Darien and McIntosh tourism for about 15 years. So we've been doing it for a while. We've been investing in this community and its tourism for a long time. We love this place. We love sharing it with everybody. We love bringing people to the community. So, and we've also been working with the Chamber, with the Georgia Coast Travel Association on this visitor center. Worked with Kelly, worked with Kate. We've worked on this for years, where to put the visitor center. We've met on it, we've brainstormed about it, we've thought about it. And when we all bought the Cafe Risque property, we thought, great, finally. We used to talk about having it downtown, but we all realized it needed to be at 95, needed to be at that corridor. Bought the property, it was all great, we're gonna have this great center, we've talked about it, we've been excited about it, and we've been waiting on it. And all of a sudden this week, felt like the rug got pulled out from under us. As everyone kind of knows around town, I've been out of shape about this, so I've got my notes and I haven't really had a chance to actually get them all together. But that's the thing, I just invested heavily here, so it really kind of upset me that all of a sudden out of the blue we're going to do this. You're moving it 150 yards, and you're going to spend about $350,000 to move this thing about 150 yards. Right now the space is in a free space, you're not paying any rent, it's not whatever, I imagine you're paying utilities and stuff, but the rent is free. So the visibility is not going to increase very much. With everybody around Darien this weekend, they see all the B&Bs were full, Skippers had them lined out the door, B&J's had them lined out the door, Waterfront Wine and Gourmet had them inside and out, Blue Bay. Turnip Greens was packed, had a line at the register all day long. We're all full, we're all busy, it's the beginning of our season. My sister Jan from the Blue Heron called the visitor center Saturday afternoon, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They had 6 visitors at the visitor center on an extremely busy weekend in Darien. We, the tourism people, the people that are busting their tails, investing their personal money into Darien, McIntosh County's tourism industry, we're putting our personal money in and making huge investments. We're bringing the people in. Mandy and whatever, I don't know how she does it. With what she gets for her money, whatever she has to use to do this, she's been doing it for years and she amazes me. My sister amazes me with the work that she does. But we're doing it. Skippers is doing it. Skippers invested in those billboards and their business increased a lot. But that's a big investment. That costs a lot of money. What I just did on Fort King George costs a lot of money. And we use our money to advertise and invest to get the people here. B&Bs get them in the rooms, then they go out. We send just about everybody in my bed and breakfast goes to Skippers. Skippers sent 2 couples on a Sunday afternoon, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, filled me up for the 4th night in a row. So we all work together down here. Why? I mean, we were never consulted. We're the professionals here in the town. We're the ones doing all the work. We're in the trenches. And not one of you called and said, what do you think about moving the visitor center? What do you think about this? I mean, it was a kick in the gut the other day when that came out after spending years talking about where the visitor center should go here. So we're a little upset. And like I said, to move it 150 yards to get, what, maybe 12 visitors on an extremely busy weekend or something for $350,000, I just don't see the investment. And I think that's close to it. One more thing I want to say about the Cafe Risque property, it's 3 acres. It's kind of been expanded, like it's going to cost us $1.2 million to build out this whole big building. Why can't it be a small building? Why can't we build out 1 acre of it now, sell the other acreage, or just build a small building that can be expanded, take 1 acre, do a little bit at a time or something? I just think taking all that money right now and pouring it into an old Wendy's building, I think Wendy's knew what they were doing. I think they knew how to grow a business and run a business, and they went out of business for a reason. Lack of visibility and lack of traffic. So, I mean, I know it's a visitor center. I know we don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars to come through there to sell a bunch of burgers and stuff, but I just don't think it's the right property. And that's just, and I speak for my sister, she couldn't be here tonight, and I think I sort of speak for the rest of us in tourism in downtown Darien. So, thank you very much for your time.
Go ahead.
I'll go. May I?
Absolutely.
Hello, my name is Carol Meyer, M-A-Y-E-R. My only investment is on 3rd Street, where we bought a house a couple years ago. I don't have a lot of skin in this game, so to speak, but I'm kind of new here. We've been here just about 2 years. A little nervous, excuse me. Been down here a few years before that, maybe 10. But if I'm getting off 95, I don't want to go past 2 closed down gas stations and go to the creepiest empty outlet mall in the world to go to Visitor Center. I want to turn the other direction. I want to head toward the water. I want to head toward this cute little town. I want to see some billboards on 251 that tell me where I'm going. And there used to be one, actually, for Darien, and it was destroyed in a storm. So I'm just saying, overall, from kind of a new person's point of view, why Wendy's? And I don't know if you're at liberty to answer me or if you're just gonna stare at me, but I mean, seriously? I mean, and I don't even know exactly where this property is, Cafe Risque, but go, streamline, like she said, small building, just a portion of it. Just make a portion of it with a little counter and bathrooms. Maybe make some of the exhibits outside, gravel parking. I mean, just get on this side of the freeway. And, I mean, you guys were all voted into office. I voted for you recently. I almost bought a house from you. I don't know anybody else. But I'm just saying, you guys are normal, nice, wonderful people. But you gotta look at who voted you in. And you gotta talk to us. And you can't just pull the 360 on something like this and go, hey, we're buying Wendy's. You just don't do that. Hold some meetings, hold some town halls. Ask us. Ask for volunteers. Have a group that helps you. I'll give you 10 hours a month of my time. You need some help? I'll do that. I'll commit to that right now. Get 10 other people to do the same thing. Get different viewpoints. Get people's opinion. See what the county really wants, the people that live here, and pay a lot of taxes. And aren't seeing a whole lot in return. And I'm not talking businesses, I'm talking just as an individual. So, that's just my opinion. I did look on the line to see some of the stuff you got, and the last I could find was like 2012. So, I'm not real educated on any of the dollar amounts, but just, your people, I'm people, just think about it from the people point of view. It just seems so completely crazy. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone else? Anybody else like to speak?
Well said.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. We appreciate you being here, everybody that spoke, and we're going to call this workshop to order. And what you have before you is a printed agenda. And tomorrow, when we get here, the first action item will be to approve the agenda. Immediately following that, there will be 3 sets of minutes. There will be a February 11th work session, which is an action item, a February 12th regular meeting, and a February 19th special call meeting. All 3 of these are action items. So you should have the printed agenda minutes in your books. And I don't know if anybody has any questions on them at this time, but tomorrow we will.
We can go back up to the agenda real quick. On the agenda that I sent y'all Friday, there was another item on there about a contract for some engineering. We weren't able to get that contract completed before today's meeting, so it was off of the agenda.
Yeah, because the email said it was a possibility. Right. Okay, so it didn't happen. Right. Okay. All right, so there will be 3 sets of minutes that you have in your books. Does anybody have any questions on those minutes? Okay, hearing none, just be prepared to take action on those 3 items tomorrow. There are no visitor presentations, there are no public hearings, there is one item under old business. Under old business, will be consider amending the McIntosh County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10, Section 20, Buildings and Regulations. This is an action item. I think last month we had a first reading.
Yes, sir.
So I'll let the manager speak on that, please.
Every 3 years, the International Building Code reamps their building codes. Our ordinance adopts that by reference. ISO does not see our reference of readopting it when they republish it as satisfactory. So we do have to readopt it every 3 years. So that's what this ordinance amendment does. Once the 2018 code is released, we will have to adopt that one in the next few months also.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the manager or staff on that amendment to the ordinance? Okay.
I wanted to ask a question about the agenda for tomorrow. So if there's an item that's not on here, I know last week I had sent some agenda items that I wanted to discuss this week. One of those being the Wendy's property, just for some clarification. And that wasn't placed on here. So I wanted just to make sure, is this where I would ask for, I mean, I've already asked, but should I ask for an amendment to the agenda so that we could discuss that? Or?
There would have to be a motion to amend the agenda. I haven't had time to prepare anything for the list that you sent. Like Wednesday last week, we had a meeting in Atlanta with DPD, and then we were pretty busy Thursday and Friday, so I haven't had a chance to address those issues. My memo did address a lot of the issues on the visitor center.
Would it require an executive session to discuss, or is that something now that it's in the public, we would just discuss that out?
Discuss Wendy's, or because there was a bunch of stuff in that letter. There was personnel, there was legal, all that would be executive session.
Right, no, the Wendy's property.
But we do it in open session now that we're under contract.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion then to add a discussion about the Wendy's
It
property.
wouldn't be a motion tonight.
It wouldn't be,
Yeah,
it's a
tomorrow.
workshop.
Okay, so I can add it tomorrow.
And so for discussion purposes, what do you want to just rehash the decision that's already made?
Yes, I do. I would like to discuss some of the input that we've heard tonight. I would like to, there was a lot of information that I received when we made a couple of decisions earlier about the property, and I don't really feel like I had enough time to take a look at all the details. I wasn't here for the call meeting that we had, and I probably would have voiced some opinions at that meeting, but I wasn't here. So I would just like an opportunity to do that. It may not change the outcome, but I would like to discuss it. And I think that there are a lot of details that, and I don't know about anybody else, but there's been quite a few details that have been brought to my attention since we met the first night about the property, 2 weeks ago.
You can absolutely make a motion to amend the agenda tomorrow if you so wish.
I have a general question. It's related to the issue, but it's a broader question. During a time like this when we have individuals make presentations, what is the process to discuss those matters?
If you had any questions or comments, we definitely could have had them at that time. If you want to adjourn this meeting and listen and make some comments, that Wendy's building is not on this agenda.
And again, but broader question.
Right.
I think, Commissioner adequately addressed the Wendy's, so on a broader issue, regardless of what the discussion is, I believe that when citizens present issues, they are owed some form of feedback, and I want to know what's that process about that feedback.
And you know, is this the setting to give that feedback? Is it these people address their commissioner directly and get some answers, address staff to get some answers? I have not had one phone call. In all this uproar and everything, I haven't had a phone call from another commissioner. You know, I was one of the 5 that sat in the room that made that decision. So, you know, my thing is this tends to be a business meeting of the county government, and there's so many things. There's a lot of information out there. Most of it's not so. There's some opinions. This board made a decision, and
again,
if we want to revisit it, we definitely can.
Again, I'm asking a broader question.
Right.
I want to table the Wendy's question. I will imagine that there will be other times that the gallery will have individuals that will express some concerns or interests, and I just want to know what is the historical way that we as a board address those concerns. I would feel if I was one of them, they presented some topics, and then we are completely silent on it and don't provide them any indication that we're going to discuss it, I would leave thinking that the government did not hear me. So that's my question, the broader question, not only Wendy's, but any matter that's brought forward.
Most of the time, the chairman refers them to staff, and then we do what we can for them. If we can't get to the solution that they're looking for, then they come to y'all on a one-on-one basis. We don't hash it out in open meeting.
Okay.
I mean,
Can I
just
say
to
something
give
on that?
no, we're in meeting now. But now, well, absolutely, yes, ma'am, absolutely. But what was I in with that? Oh, but to sit here and try to address, I mean, I wrote down 1, 2, 3. About 24, 25 items. I don't think this is the time to try to address that. Many of those items, this isn't even the meeting for.
Okay.
It was a city comment and an industrial
Right.
authority comment. There was some stuff directed at the county for sure.
Okay.
And we definitely can respond. But when we're having a discussion like that, anybody at this table speak up. If somebody says something that you feel like you need to respond to or question further, for sure.
Okay. So, and to the larger issue, then I could potentially come to you and ask, okay, there's some things that were mentioned, give me some more feedback, and then potentially put it on an agenda item. You could make a motion for some future meeting to be able to provide some feedback to the concerns raised.
Yeah, and if you wanted to bring that up tonight, you can. I mean, you're county commissioner, you got elected to that seat, you can bring it up. But you're probably going to get further and get more answers than just sitting here tonight without some factual information.
Right, and I yield to what the intent to present it as an agenda item later for discussion.
Okay. All right. Any other comments at this time? Okay. All right, so then we are going to move into new business after finishing that up with the ordinance. And under new business, the first item, we consider 2 appointments to the Coastal Regional Commission Aging Advisory Council. This is an action item. Will the manager please speak on that?
Yes, sir. We currently have 2 appointments that are going to expire on June 30th of this year. Eunice Moore and Lorraine Coe currently serve in those positions. Both have addressed us and showed interest in being reappointed. And we also have 2 other applicants, and these will be for 3-year terms, and they will expire on June 30th, 2022. If we appoint somebody other than Ms. Moore or Ms. Cohen, those terms will not start until July 1st of this year.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments on these applicants or on this appointment, these appointments for tomorrow?
Point of clarity, there are 2 who are currently serving, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what's the total number on that?
I think we have 3 appointments total on that board, but there's only 2 terms up currently.
Thank you.
Any other questions on those appointments? All right, number 2 under new business will be to consider resolution 2019-3 supporting the development of a U.S. bicycle route 1. This is an action item. The manager would like to speak on that, please.
Yes, sir. Resolution 2019-3 shows support for the development of the U.S. bicycle route 1. The route referenced behind the resolution on the map is the current East Coast Greenway. In the resolution, it does mention that bicycle tourism contributes approximately $47 billion to economies of communities that provide these sorts of routes. The extension of our bike path through our community, the Highlander Trail, is a big part of our comprehensive plan that we adopted last year, and that and also the ecotourism, and this will provide both things that we want to get done in our comprehensive plan.
Okay. Any questions?
The resolution is a letter of support, doesn't require anything.
Any comments or questions on that item? Hearing none, we will move into number 3, consider emergency medical services request for proposal. This is an action item as well. Manager, want to speak on that?
Yes, sir. Last year at our planning retreat, which was held in June, we discussed EMS at great lengths. I know that only 2 of you were at that planning retreat, and but currently the EMS budget is $997,665. And we have a projected revenues of $276,991 this year, which means that EMS is costing the taxpayers $720,674. However, there will always be a cost for saving lives, and we'll always have the service. At our retreat, staff was instructed to further investigate what we can do to save money, and we have come to the conclusion that many communities are going to privatize the EMS. The RFP in your packet allows us to see bids, see how much it would cost for us to have a private company come in and run our EMS service for us. In the RFP, it asks for, it gives specific directions to provide us information on their service plan, employment plan, equipment plan, and other items. And it also lays out how it's going to be presented so we can compare apples to apples when we're looking at these. If this RFP is approved to go out for bid, it would be due April 17th at 11 a.m. And the proposed contract, the commencement date of the contract would be June 1st of this year if we decide to go this route. Now, we can always accept or get these bids. We always have the right to reject them and keep it in-house.
Is this initial research you've done indicate that there could be a
Yes, sir.
pretty generous savings to the county?
Yes, sir. Every community that we've reached out to that's done this is saving. Pierce County, we talked to them. They just privatized, and their budget was very similar to ours. It was almost shocking how close the numbers were. They're getting the service for $350,000. So that would save us approximately $350,000.
Pretty substantial.
All right. Anybody have any questions on this RFP for the staff? It's pretty thick, you know.
For clarity, this basically just replaces the existence, not any kind of expansion.
Right, that's correct. They would come in, they would man our facilities, and they would run our ambulances.
And for clarity on this RFP, do we need to mention that we intend to hold our license? Because I didn't see that in the.
It's not in there, but we have the option to keep our license. We would never give that up. I think we'd have to pay $8,100 a year for what our current license cost is. But you never want to give up your license because if you get mad at your contractor, you won't be able to push them out the door and resume their services.
And I know in the past, we've looked at this a couple times since I've been serving on this board, and it just didn't make sense in the past, but that was the big thing, was hang on to your license, do not give up your license. And in the past, the operators were asking us to give up our license, and that's why we didn't do it. So it sounds like it's an option to keep it this way.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Pierce County kept theirs.
Okay. All right, any further discussion, questions or comments on this RFP? Okay, if we will be prepared to take action on that tomorrow. And then the last item under new business, we consider scheduling a planning retreat. This is an action item. If you got your calendars in front of you, there's one in the front of your packets. I want to discuss some dates. Now's the time to do it. Who wants to throw some dates out there?
What, kind of timeframe have y'all, like, operated with in the past? I mean, what kind of, I mean, has it been a 3-hour retreat, a day retreat?
It just all depends on what's, typically in the past, when we've scheduled a retreat, we usually do 2. We'll do a budget retreat, which is obviously further into the summer, usually in August. But when we do one in the spring or early summer, it's typically, whatever winds up on the agenda, you know, how much, whatever we have going on. Commissioners are typically, kind of like your email.
Yes.
You know, hey, let's hit this and this. This is what's of interest to me. Commissioners will usually submit, if the staff doesn't have on there identified, hey, we're going to discuss this, this, and this. If you have something else, what is it? And then and that kind of dictates, you know, we'll look at that agenda that's printed and say, we need a half a day, we need all day.
I don't know if I had proposed a time frame for that, but, and I don't know what everybody else's schedule is like. I have an entire week off the first week of April. There are some things we're not doing in that week to get ready for the blessing, but for the most part, Tuesday would be a good day, the 2nd for me, but I don't, honestly, I could meet any time of day.
If it was gonna be that week, I would, or the staff would request it be later in the week, just to give us more time to prepare.
Okay. Thursday, I could do it that morning as long as we did it early.
So, you talking like Thursday the 4th?
Yes.
Will that give you sufficient time to do, not knowing what we'll be asking?
Depending what all y'all have.
I'll be asking a lot.
If you got some stuff that you know you already got on your mind, and we're talking about something that's 3 weeks out, go ahead and start sending it to them, so they can start getting
And
some.
maybe
Because-
this one we can get started.
Because I want to use it as a, speed type meeting as well.
Right.
Getting speed on the issue.
Yes, sir.
So, there's a date thrown out there for the 4th, Thursday the 4th. What,
If we could just throw out a couple alternate dates also, just in case, continue that we, I don't know where y'all want to hold it. The last few we've had been at the, at Dorchester Shooting Reserve up in Midway.
so there's an April 4th thrown out there, and you said morning would be better?
That week, when we go up there, is this open to the public? So would it be better to have it locally so they can come?
I think you're supposed to have it out of county.
Oh, you are?
aren't you?
Okay.
Usually just basically a call meeting, not a retreat.
Oh,
It's even when you're out of county, you cannot make any money, you can't make any motion.
how
No,
far is
no action.
Dorchester?
It's right there in Midway.
So 30 minutes.
Does anybody want to throw out any alternate dates in the event that date don't come together, or y'all just want to roll with that one and hope it works?
And understanding Commissioner Goyar's concerns, I would like to have one a couple of weeks later in the event that we ask for so much that they need more time. So I propose,
I can check with Chuck in the morning, we should know if that date works.
See if it's available.
It'll be right after 12 season ends, so they.
2 weeks after that, you know, it's like, obviously, you got the calendar in front of you, it's the week of the 15th through the 19th, is the weekdays.
the beginning part of that week worked better for me, like that Tuesday, the 16th. But I'm okay with the 4th as well.
Yeah, the 19th is Good Friday, we probably want to stay away from that. So, you want to shoot for the 16th for an alternate date?
That works for me.
How's that work?
Fine by me.
Where's an alternate?
April 16th. 16th. Tomorrow, someone will be prepared to make that motion, and we'll.
Closed session, and, you know, I really don't think people were beating down the door to buy Wendy's if y'all had to hurry and buy it. Nobody wants that crap out there, it looks terrible.
But that's your opinion.
That is my opinion, David, but-
Listen, had you reached out to me, because I am your commissioner, and don't live far from you, and we pass often. Reach out to me and let me answer some of these concerns.
You'll just say it's a done deal, David. It was already done at that point when I found out about it. And that's our fault as citizens, because we don't read the paper. We don't know what y'all are proposing, it just gets passed on through. It is our fault.
We can have.
But I really seriously think in this day and time that we can have something more than just the Darien news, to let things are going on. I do.
I'd like to submit that you guys could put these meetings online very inexpensively. You could split that cost with the city. You could put a camera right up there that points to the speaker. You can put a camera right up there that points to the commissioners and record it, and you would have it archived forever, and it would be a good thing for your constituents.
The meetings are recorded, Joe.
They are recorded, but not everyone has access to Darien Telephone.
But what does Michael Heiser call his company?
Yeah, Heiser listing, or Heiser, Final Cut Productions.
But when we do, I mean, when the press is here and it's an open meeting and that door's wide open, it's not locked. Anybody in the public has the ability to be here, be heard, be seen, hear what we've got going on. But now real estate, personnel, and legal, we're going to do behind closed doors until it's a done deal.
Well, and I do understand that, but I think you need more time to listen to the people that are in the community paying these things.
I don't think, and I'm just speaking for myself.
Sure.
Had you hit me with any of these questions or comments, I'd have responded to every one of them. My answer would not have been it's a done deal.
But it is a done deal, isn't it?
It's been voted. I mean, they could always, you know, if this commission decided to reverse it,
I think
I would hope not at this point, but again, that's when we get into these public settings. It's a bunch of people's opinion. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it was 5 people's opinion to move forward. And we did. And that's why we get elected, and that's why there are elections.
Yep. I agree 100%.
Actions have consequences, and we understand that.
But from the time, I'm sorry, I just need to be clear for myself. From the time you said, hey, let's buy Wendy's. Are we thinking about buying Wendy's? I mean, how much time was there? Was there time? I mean, was there ever a time in between when you said, hey, maybe we'll buy the Wendy's and we're buying the Wendy's? Where anybody could have talked to you about that? I mean, did anyone know you were
We
thinking about
discussed
it?
it in an executive session and got the approval to make an offer. Once it's talked about in executive session, we cannot talk about it to anybody except for ourselves behind closed doors until we're in a contract.
So there was really no way for you to reach
state
out
law.
and
That's
say,
state law.
I'd like more information on this, because there's no way you would talk to us about it.
I've talked to you, once we signed that contract and we voted on it in an open meeting, it's for the world then.
Okay, so it was essentially, I know it's a contract that hasn't closed yet, but it's a signed contract, essentially a done deal. So there wasn't an opportunity for us to call you personally or you personally.
Sure. I mean, y'all
Before you signed, there wasn't
There wasn't what?
a chance for us to ask any questions about it before you signed, hey, we're gonna buy this property.
That was 3 weeks ago, and tonight's the most discussion there's been. And it was done in open meeting 3 weeks ago.
Okay. I just didn't have a clear picture of the chain of events, that's all, but now I do.
We are adjourned.
Hey, Sean, don't you have